How do you reach this consistency, and with what performance would you be happy tomorrow?
I guess another 6 meter would be nice.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think that in our sport, it's super mental. It's super mental. So once you get over a barrier and you start feeling comfortable over a barrier, it just feels like you can continue to keep doing it. And so for me, when I started to make 6 meters a little more regularly last year, I figured out what I had to do to make it, and I just kind of went out there and just did the things that I knew that I could do. So you know, it's a really mental sport, and I think that a lot of these numbers can feel big for people, and I think that, you know, even if they're capable of it, they think that they're not. And so you know, once I started getting comfortable with the heights that, you know, I'm jumping now, I felt like from there just got to go out there and just got to do it.
Demain, je serais content si je passais une nouvelle fois les 6 mètres. Ce serait fantastique. Je crois que dans notre sport, le mental est vraiment décisif et capital. Une fois que vous avez intégré des choses, que vous savez que vous en êtes capable, vous commencez à voir les barres en vous disant, voilà, celle-là, je vais la passer aussi. Donc plus vous faites et plus vous réussissez. Et il y a certainement des choses dont d'autres athlètes seraient capables aussi, mais parce qu'ils ne l'ont encore jamais fait, ils ne savent pas, donc ils en sont capables, et donc leur mental est un peu moins présent.
Sam, it will be your first competition since the beginning of July, I guess, I think. Yes. Do you feel now more motivated or less motivated after the ban? You were banned from Olympics because of this craziness?
Well, I will tell you this. You've told Mondo how consistent he is above 6 meters, and he has proven that every time. He's had to continue to prove that so you would ask him the question. My life in this sport has been a constant state of proving yourself. This sport is a proving ground. You prove yourself until you can't anymore, and then you retire. I think Carson might have hinted at something like that in his press conference a minute ago. He says, this sport asks the most of you. It asks you to risk your mind, body, and spirit all the time. It always hurts me when people tell me how much I can't risk for my future. And that's why the Olympics hurt. Because they say, your level of risk is not ready for our Olympics. I said, well, I guess you can't have me anymore. Which stinks. But when I come to places like Losanna, this is where you cut your teeth. This is where you want to prove yourself, a proving ground once again. And even though the Olympics were not mine, I was banned, as you say, it's still my weight, my burden to carry to prove yourself once again. So, no matter what you've been through, whenever you come to the field of play, you take the responsibility that it's your place to do it, go perform. It doesn't matter what your excuses are, it doesn't matter your past, and it says this is the place to jump. I hope you can do your best. Losanna is very special to me. Very special to me. I've jumped meet records here. I've been beaten here consistently in the last 2 years by Gilioli said, and then by Mondo last year, where he made me the world's greatest loser in this sport. I have the highest second place of any man in history, so I call myself affectionately the world's greatest loser. And you are all welcome to call me that as well. I think it's been proven yet again, the world's greatest loser.
Carsten l'a peut-être dit tout à l'heure en conférence de presse, mais nous, dans notre sport, en quoi consiste notre métier, notre sport, eh bien, à mettre son mental, son esprit et sa condition physique aussi à risque tous les jours, à chaque entraînement et à chaque compétition. Donc, bien sûr, aux Jeux Olympiques, j'étais très triste de ne pas pouvoir y être, mais voilà, il faut continuer. Je crois vraiment que partout où vous allez, vous avez la responsabilité de tout mettre à risque. Il a été décidé que je ne pouvais pas prendre ces risques-là, de tout donner aux Jeux Olympiques. Bon, j'étais triste, mais c'est comme ça. Maintenant, on continue. Et puis, Lausanne, c'est quand même toujours un stade et un meeting très particulier pour moi. J'ai été détenteur du record du meeting par le passé. Et puis, depuis l'an dernier, je me suis donné le titre du meilleur perdant du monde, puisque avec la barre que j'ai réussi l'an dernier et ma deuxième place derrière Mondo, c'était la barre la plus élevée qu'un deuxième n'ait jamais réussi au monde. Donc, vous pouvez me donner ce titre qui me plaît tout à fait.
The floor is open for your questions now. Feel free to raise your hands. Thank you.
Hi, this is a question for Sam. Back to the Olympics, would you say it's just bad luck unfair? Do you have time to think over?
I think I had plenty of time to think. I think that's all I was afforded. I don't want to delve too much into the question because I don't think we want to put a dour mood on all of this amazing fanfare that Losanna brings and such a positive spirit. I'll tell you a little story, and Mondo was going to chuckle because he knew I was going to get on the mic at such a question. I was in the back of the bus with unnamed people, headed home from a team meeting at the Olympics, and an old athlete, one that I respect, he's got a ton of experience. He says, Sam, if your goal is to have a career in the sport, you want to be a career athlete, understand that sometimes a career athlete's journey is not a champion's athlete, and not a champion athlete's journey. I've been so lucky to win 2 world championships and several other medals besides. In my career, I consider all of my goals accomplished. But he says if you want to go to a lot of Olympics, son, one of them's going to get screwed for you. And that's not going to be your fault. I've traveled this world 2 years in 20 countries, keeping this sport alive when the whole world said it would be shut down. I even brought entertainment with my buddy Mondo and my buddy Renault to the world when they say nothing could be happened. My level of adventurousness, and some people call it recklessness, is for the sake of this sport. Because I want to come out here and I want to compete. It seems like you're a little bit more jaded when it comes to Olympic politics and Olympic health, as it should be. But for my conditions and for the Olympics, it feels like a slap in the face, but that's all I will say. And I'm here to fight the battles ahead, not the ones behind. So thank you very much for your question.
On va pas trop m'épancher sur la question parce que oui, j'ai eu le temps de réfléchir à ce que ça signifie pour moi de ne pas pouvoir aller au jeu, mais je me limiterai à dire que c'était vraiment une claque dans la figure. Mais je n'aimerais pas trop y revenir, je n'aimerais pas parler du passé, mais nous concentrer maintenant sur l'avenir. Peut-être juste une petite anecdote, j'étais dans le bus avec toute l'équipe américaine et j'ai discuté avec quelqu'un qui avait énormément d'expérience et il me disait, voilà, il y a une différence entre être un athlète concentré sur les championnats, les rendez-vous, et puis un athlète qui a toute une carrière derrière et encore devant soi. Donc j'y ai pensé, je me suis dit, moi, toutes ces dernières années, j'ai gagné 2 championnats du monde, 7 médailles, j'ai fait le tour du monde avec Mondo, avec Mondo Duplantis. On a vraiment créé quelque chose pour ce sport. Donc voilà, maintenant c'est comme ça, comme je l'ai dit, c'était une baffe, mais maintenant on va de l'avant. Et je ne voudrais pas m'épancher sur le sujet non plus, parce que Lausanne, l'énergie est tellement positive ici que je crois que c'est vraiment ce sur quoi nous devrions nous concentrer maintenant.
More questions, please? Yes?
Question to Mondo. Mondo, how is it the level of pressure you are feeling right now compared to the one before the Olympics? And it's more or less. How does it help you or not for the competition tomorrow?
I feel like I kind of have there's a lot less weight on my shoulder for sure. And going into the Olympics, it was pretty stressful, especially, considering that, I was the favorite and everybody was kind of looking at me to win, and they already, the way everybody was talking to me, it's like they were trying to give me the win before I even did it, and, it's a super tough sport, and it can be, sports can be really tough, especially on any given day, so I still have to go out there and do it. That's kind of was the really stressful part of being the favorite, going into the meet, so. But now that the Olympics is gone, I feel like I can just breathe again, and now I feel pretty chill now. I feel like, now I did what was needed to be done, you could say, and now I can just come out here, try to get Sam again finally, and just try to go out there and jump high and try to win some competitions. Really nothing other than that. Didn't feel like, I feel like it was almost more something that I just had to do rather than what it was.
Oui, maintenant j'ai vraiment un bon.
Mondo, is it possible for you to win other 3 Olympic Games, just you are so young? It's impossible, or is it possible?
Oh, do I want to win 3?
Yes,
I
other 3.
gotta win 2 before I win 3.
Hell yeah, what a good answer. That's it.
Gagner 3 Jeux Olympiques un jour, 3 titres, oui, pourquoi pas, mais il faudrait commencer par gagner le 2e.
Short, sweet, what a good answer. Good question too. Good question too.
You both are coached by your father. Yeah, what relationship is it? It must be very special, no? Explain, can you delve into it, please, and what are these special relationships?
You can. All right. Well, let me say I'm the biggest fan of Greg and Mondo, and I'm gonna put Mondo aside here. Can't ever put Mondo all the way aside. I'm gonna put him on a shelf right now, and I'm gonna talk about his older brother. His older brother Andreas was coached by his father as well, and is at the same time my father was coaching me. So I have such a kindred spirit with men who have walked the same path as me, and coached by their fathers. It's a lot of times it's hard to be coached by your parent, and it's such a positive thing when you can make it work. And Greg and Mondo's relationship is such a fun one to watch. If you just want to be a fly on the wall and have a great time, if you watched the Garden Clash last year, you had a great time just watching Greg the whole time, because there's something underneath it all. And it's, I don't know, when you go to pole practice, if you and Greg ever talk about pole vault, because me and Coach Kate never talk about pole. We've been doing this thing so long, it's whatever else is going on in the world, because that's what builds you mentally. I think having a father as a coach builds you so strong mentally, because they know you so well. They know how to twist the knobs and push the right buttons so that it stresses you in such a way that you want to be stronger. And I am greatly afforded to have a father as a coach. You got to have good poles, a place to train, time to do it, and you got to have a great coach. Be good at pole vault. And I think we both have one. And his relationship with Greg is similar to mine. Mine with my father, but I know it's got a whole different artistry to it for sure.
Yeah, no, I think it's, I mean, I think it's really cool. It's hard to compare to other people, but it's easy to relate to Sam, of course, since he grew up jumping with his father from the very beginning, just like me. I never had any other coach. It was only me and my dad ever since I was, 3 years old, going out there in the backyard, and it was just me and my father. We'd go out there, we'd jump every day, every other day, depending on, whatever we wanted to do. And, when you spend so much time with a person, you develop a special kind of bond. And, my father he's my best friend. He's my best friend. He can make me, he knows me better than anybody else in the world knows me. And so when you have that kind of relationship with, not only your father, but your coach, it just, everything becomes a lot easier, because, you want your coach to be able to know you kind of in and out, because he knows what's best for you. And what?
Well, I was gonna, our coaches are actually coaching our younger siblings right now too, and that is such a fun thing to watch. My dad's coaching my little brother, his dad's coaching his little sister, and just watching the different kind of relationship that they have. Any parent in here can understand that you have to treat all your kids differently. You have to, because they're all different people. Oh, and I have so much fun watching. And it seems to me like my dad is a lot easier on my little brother sometimes. But at the same time, he's so much better, He's so much better than I was. And I'm sure I got to watch Greg coach Johanna the other day, and we were in Sweden. And it was just a fun time. You look great, yo, you look great. You're doing great. Go up the pole or don't, Such a great time watching coaching ladies. And it's such a different thing with motivation and confidence when you go talking about coaching your siblings as well.
Yeah, we get the tougher end of the stick sometimes. I feel that.
Oh, and when you get to the big show, if your dad's there at the Diamond League final, let him drink a beer while he coaches you. You gotta let him drink a beer while he coaches you. Buy him a beer, okay?
He needs that.
They gotta have it. It's way more stressful for your parents than it is for us. Any question you're gonna ask us, they're like, oh man, I was way more stressed. I tell you what, after this Olympics thing, nobody was more worried about it than my old man was, and I know he's my number one dog in the fight anytime I want to go somewhere.
You have the little ones, the ambition to become champions like you, the potential maybe?
Well, when you talk about your younger siblings, you realize the secret of this sport is you can't want it for somebody else. My dad would have never been a great coach for me if he wanted me to be a champion. He wanted me to get what I wanted out of the sport, and I wanted a career. And the championships and the Olympic medals are just bonuses. When Mondo was 3 years old jumping, Greg didn't say, that's my little Olympic champion right there. Everybody else said that, okay? Not Greg. And that's what makes it cool, because he's only there for me, and once you figure that out, then your relationship just grows. Sorry, I stole the thunder.
No, you said it right. I agree with everything you said.
Alors, pour résumer, est-ce que Sam explique?
Do you have more questions? So you can go outside with the two athletes and
thank you, everybody.
One-to-one on the television. Thank you very much for being here.
Y'all got 2 more waters?
Yeah, there is here.
Okay, well, here, let's take a picture of all the time. Will there be a 4th Diamond League champion? No, Timmy B, and could be a wild card. Where'd Chrissy go?